Hello, anybody. I hope anybody's watching right now because we are starting to stream live. I will be hosting a Q&A live stream right now, and hopefully anytime soon, he will be asking questions. I'll be ready when someone views. Look at that, someone is viewing. Well, say something. Feel free to ask a question, as long as it isn't too personal. Okay, never mind. Do 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 do. Do do. Do do do. To whoever's watching, note that I am not the best whistler on the planet. Not like Olimar or whatever his name is. And to anybody who's currently in school, hope you're doing great. I have not much to say since I have graduated approximately a couple years ago. The stream will be starting momentarily as soon as somebody decides to make a comment. And something tells me it won't be spamming unless there's some, I don't know, someone trying to take me off for the sake of being paid for it. Not that such a thing exists. In case you're wondering why I'm nodding, it's something stuck in my head. Perhaps the retail song from Animal Crossing New Leaf. If you do not have a YouTube comment, and I mean if you do not have a YouTube account, therefore you cannot comment, I greatly understand, and it is my humble apologies that you cannot partake in any way, shape, or form unless you can contact me a certain way. I'm afraid not much will be viewing, assuming the fact that you'd have to be famous to host such a spammed live stream, I suppose. It has been 6 minutes. It is September 3rd on a Friday. TGIF, am I right? And above all, because I'm a graduate student, I really, really hope I'm not streaming at a bad time, including the fact that some of you could be in school by now. Then again, I hope you have good grades. But at the same time, it never ever takes a good grade to make a good person. Because not everybody can strike a home run when you want to be a lawyer. Or so that's how I portray the school system, teaching you things that are clearly unnecessary to your forever life choice. Want to, I don't know, be a businessman? I highly recommend business classes and or languages, not not in our class that teaches you how to do a forging of Mona Lisa. For forging is a poor example to demonstrate. I really hope I don't have to end the stream quite soon, involving the fact that nobody's bothering to watch. Unless someone is bothering to watch and it's not popping up on my participant thing. I really wish YouTube allows anonymous things, such as questions and comments. If anybody is, excuse me for a minute. I see we have a couple people watching already. I am very, very grateful that you could join the stream today. This is a Q&A, so therefore feel free to ask questions as long as they are not semi-personal. And I see it's already been 10 minutes during the stream. Do pardon such a delayed thing or so, because I have never, ever, ever ever hosted a stream this proper before, but I have talked on a radio locally before. We got more. And whoever that was left. Yes, Taddy, I have done radio, but not as often as you'd assume. I have done radio specifically to host. I haven't hosted anything really, but I have done radio station talk in hopes of spreading the word about a school designated for folks like me to be in, specifically neurodivergent, autistic, not in the bad way, but definitely autistic and possibly or Asperger's based people, young kids to be exact. I am very flattered by that. Ooh, Daddy. Anybody else watching got a question? Unless you have commented before and you'd like to ask a question again. I've always wanted to do radio talk for that matter, actually. My dad makes fun of me about it, and he acknowledges the fact that I'm trying improv. First ever cartoon I've ever watched. That's a good question, Dante. I would say perhaps SpongeBob, most likely, because I've watched it since I was a baby, and I still do, and I prefer the older episodes, like most diehard SpongeBob fans, I suppose. And of course, one of my first words actually was a mispronounced form of SpongeBob. I used to say SpongeBatch when I was very, very, very little. No, that's an I, not an E. That's not an I, that's an A. SpongeBatch. Thank you, Dante. And if you have not many questions to offer at this very time, that's okay. I can wait till you come up with something that you genuinely want to know. Exactly, Taddy. I agree. Older the better, because that's when flossing, never existed. I beg your pardon, Dante. Is that regarding a parody of SpongeBob? Pardon my big words, first of all. Oh, okay. And, any recent hyperfixations by my friend Tulip? Well, honestly, it's been kind of a combination between Balan Wonderworld, perhaps what I personally portray as an underrated game. The poor gameplay, I understand, but I highly believe it's not worth throwing hands over. If you don't like it, you don't like it. So I've been having a hyperfixation with Balan and Pokemon. And from Taddy's point of view, most definitely Pokemon, because I have had a slight obsession, healthy rather than unhealthy, with a Pokemon referred to as Rotom. And Rotom is basically, Rotoms is very, very based off of a gremlin, and as well as some guy named Proton guy or something, some sort of anime that regards atoms, and he has a point on his head just like a Rotom. Speaking of head, you guys like my little raccoon hat, Mario Tanuki hat? Thank you. I believe I bought it at a local GameStop. And I definitely can't be the only one here, me and Taddy, who love. Oh, thanks. Thank you, Dante. I wonder what it's like to actually encounter a Tanuki, if it's just like encountering a possibly hostile raccoon, or a possum for that matter. At least possum don't really contract diseases that well compared to any other rodent. Well, it's not exactly a rodent. And yes, I am partially smart knowing how animals work. We all stand Rotom here. I just noticed that comment. Indeed, I'm sure we all stand, possibly except for Dante, unless he does. Any other internet celebrities you wish to meet one day? That is a very, very good question. I have I have perhaps too many YouTube idols I wish I could meet or interact with, such as Markiplier and Markiplier, Rosanna Panzino, the baker online, Beast of Fiction, Babish Culinary Universe, and so on and so forth. Perhaps, if possible, maybe some much more bigger celebrities, like the Banana Bus Squad. They're pretty good, aka Vanoss and his friends. Banana bus, banana bus, and I really hope that doesn't lead to problems by just singing that. And if anybody goes back in the beginning of the video, I have played a little retail version of this song, the retail from Animal Crossing. One. The first video game I've ever played. Very good question, because I'm gonna have to lean towards Super Mario Bros. 3, the more enhanced version for the Game Boy Color, which I have right now, but it's, I believe, at my nephew's house, who wanted to play with my 3D, not my 3DS, my Game Boy, of course, but the problem is I cannot find the charger for it, hence my room, the one with the flower stickers on it. I have two rooms, one I sleep in, one I have yet to clean up. And my messy as heck room, for that matter, is somewhere has that charger. Any pets? Yes, I have two cats, Bumper and Lizzie. And I'm very, very surprised they haven't come around just screaming their heads off, begging to be pet and maybe sniff the webcam if plausible. And they're not really the type of cats that'll sleep on your laptop for the sake of being involved. I do not know where they are right now. Perhaps one of them is hanging out upstairs. This is the basement, but if I dare compare it to a crawl space, you guys might think it's a worst case scenario, but it's not. I live a pretty good life, I'll admit, but I'm sure everybody's had their fair share of problems in life. And then there's my hair going out of whack. Harry Potter den? Oh, no, that's more in a closet in the messy room, because that's directly under the stairs right over here. But yeah, I like the idea, Harry Potter den. Well, personally, this is my own little cave, as well as my dad and I playing video games over here. The way my laptop's back is facing, that's where the TV is, along with a huge collection of video games and movies. We are indeed mostly movie fans, because my mom and I love scary movies, and then there's my dad and I who just love being diehard nerds on specifically Nintendo games like Mario, Zelda, so on and so forth. And if it were to continue, Epic Mickey. Sadly, whatever company, Junction something, has shut down, so therefore we can never expect another Epic Mickey thing, which I find to be very, very tragic. Favorite scary movie? Perhaps the one that put me on the edge of the seat the most, if I had to say that's a favorite, is A Quiet Place. I heard rumor that it's low budget despite reaching a pretty high rating in the movies, because, well, it knows how to get you. It was enough to put me on the edge of my seat. And I've even seen some movies that were actually catching you off guard enough for a proper jump scare. But yeah, above that, Above all, I'm gonna have to say A Quiet Place is my favorite horror movie, along with a couple others I don't recall. If you had to consider an ancient, some sort of ancient European kids movie that had a poor sense of rating, like, I don't know, Toys in the Attic, that was pretty dark. I never seen it, but I have recently heard about it. Speaking of which, I have an attic which is above the floor. But we rarely use it, not that I'm aware of. Might be the source of all the random spiders and flies. Anybody else so happen to like scary movies, unless I'm asking a rather terrible question towards my current audience in a place I can hide? Oh, the attic. You mean the attic. My bad. I'd be pretty terrified if I somehow found you in my attic. Not that it's plausible. Paranormal movies like the Paranormal Activity series, or things similar. Not like found footage, but definitely things involving the paranoia. I mean, not paranoia, paranormal. Paranormal Activity, that was a very putting me on edge movie. Yeah. I think I've only seen the second one where there's like a couple sleeping, and next thing you know, one of them gets dragged to the attic and kills her own husband, and then immediately gone after that. That was a very, very freaky movie. Yes, I agree. It's frightening but good. Oh, I really gotta look into more scary movies if they were more accessible on places like Netflix. Netflix only has more than a couple good horror movies. I wish I could find Devil's Pass based on the Dyatlov Pass incident in Russia or Ukraine, wherever that is. That is perhaps the most bizarre mystery I've ever heard in my life, since it's yet to be solved in the possibly the uncharted parts of Dyatlov or Kolat, wherever it is. I am very grateful at the fact that we're keeping the ball rolling as most as we can. This is my very first live stream, and I'm glad it's at least working and not really getting bizarre or anything, and my webcam not properly working. I would do a drawing stream, but I gotta figure out how to do the screen share on that, which shouldn't be too hard, really. Speaking of which, I should probably show off the apparatus. Here it is. It is massive, kind of heavy, but it gets the job done. But it works. It does the job very well, along with I know it's huge, along with a XP Pen brand glove and pen, of course. What's a tablet without a pen? The glove is actually a massive help, knowing how my hand can smear on anything. I got some cowlicks going on here, don't mind them. I really wish I had like a little tail to go with this. Not that you guys would see mostly just up to here. Space Jam, yes, I haven't seen Space Jam in forever, but yet I'd love to see it again. There was a thought that I was using time. Nah, it's not small. I'm just a small like sketch artist, if I do say so myself. And I've heard, and speaking of Space Jam, I have heard that the second one has come out with way too many references that probably would fly over a kid's head. And I am indeed bummed out that Pepe Le Pew has been kicked out. I highly doubt that he is a harasser. But at the same time, He is a bit sudden in most cases, but that's just because he's a romanticist, I suppose it's called. But he's a funny character. He does funny stuff, like try to offend people with his scent just so he can take their house. That was an actual cartoon between him and a dog. A dog that looked like Mark Anthony, the one with his little kitten. And I took money, stuff away, got everyone upset. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get how like removing a clearly harmless spot of a woman, like removing a big ear. Say you removed a big ear from a bunny because it's offensive somehow. That would never make any sense because, well, isn't a bunny identifiable from long ears? Well, I somewhat understand. Well, I vaguely understand and I don't understand the whole bunny chest situation because, well, first of all, how is it offensive unless they've seen the bizarre art out there? And I would also be offended if I found a dwarf rabbit, yeah. But other than that, I would equally be offended if I found peculiar art based on my characters, especially without my permission, or the artist's hope that I would, or without the hope that I would that was some sort of hope that I'd actually like it, or even, hey, you're a pretty good artist, even though that's clearly beyond my interest. So I'm gonna, I don't know, make you president of the fan club just for glorifying something terrible amongst my characters that don't even represent it. Nobody's asked this question, but I'm gonna bother telling about it. My first OC was actually perhaps a puppy I named Gaina, or don't ask why I named it like that. I thought it was a cute name. My knucklehead for a noggin when I was 4 years old. But my first proper fandom-based OC would have to be either I used to call her she used to be based on Skittles. Hence, the first time I watched Wreck-It Ralph and had a massive hyperfixation for it when I was 11. That was my first fandom that I got into. And I was 11, so therefore I couldn't really interact with much online, other than the Miiverse, which I got kicked off of that too because I wasn't 12 at the time. But as soon as I got into social media, things had its bumps in the road, but over time I made some pretty good friends, such as the following in the chat room: Tulip, Taddy, and Dante. Very, very good friends of mine. Sugar Rush. Yeah, that was one of my favorite moments of the movie. So, no. Taddy, why? Why the whole rabbit stuff thing? I know I didn't really put this on 100% for kids thing, but at the same time I didn't restrict it. Well, I really hope this is the whole, it doesn't regard the whole. That can't stop me because I don't know how to read. And the truth is you probably do want to read and you just don't care about the censors. I wasn't censored much growing up, but I was very, closed closet, I suppose, or something. I don't know how the metaphor goes. That the funny movies I've watched that are probably PG-13, I was younger at the time, I rarely talked about what I saw. All I know is what's funny and what isn't, or what's touchy and what isn't. Maybe not very much when I was younger, but now that I've gotten older, I suppose I should keep my mouth shut about topics of cheese, since there's people out there who are phobic of cheese. And yes, that's a thing. Bizarre fears out there, depending on whether you have trauma or not. If you have trauma about something, I totally understand. But if you're just xenophobic because you don't actually fear the unknown, you're just being racist, then that's something I cannot accept. Yeah, fear of cheese, that's a thing. I don't know, it's like somehow connected to a fear of the color yellow. But Scary shredded mozzarella. Who doesn't love mozzarella? It's good. I mean, unless you're lactose intolerant, I can totally understand if you have problems and such by just ingesting cheese. Well, hello, Groovy. Great to see you. It's great to see that I have definitely more than I thought here. I thought it would just be one person, but no. Some of my friends here I have met on over time, Discord and such, but I have a fear of laughter out there. Oh. That kind of shocks me depending on the scenario. Like I said, the fear would make sense if it involves like a history that makes you fear so. Like, I can understand the whole like fear of long words, like if you were humiliated in front of a spelling bee. Some of these are more bizarre than others, though. A duck? Specifically a duck? That sounds like the old legend of of some sort of Spanish dog person, like Chihuahua head for a head. That will stalk you the moment you make eye contact with it. That makes sense, that legend, but not the fear that you're being stalked by a duck. Right to small kids because they're mean, that makes sense, but pardon me for saying such an opinion, there will be days when I understand people don't like kids, because for me, I understand because sometimes I don't like it when a kid is super noisy. But at the same time, I don't like it when people use their hatred of some folks out there, specifically phobic of children, use that as an excuse to hurt somebody. But if you just don't like kids because you're not good with them, that makes total sense. I don't portray myself as good with kids, but my family says I do pretty well when I hold a baby, or even just little personality and such when I interact with my nephews. Abuse is never good, you're right. Yeah. That just confuses me, why people use the most unusual excuses to do such terrible things. Like hitting a random little kid because he looked at me funny when all he did was just look at you like he was scared. Well, I can't really have much room to speak because I don't like it when people look at me like I just shamelessly said I hurt somebody. Well, just because I ask simple questions like, hey, I like your, or say simple things like, hey, I like your dress, or like, it just frightens me. Like, am I actually being a psycho, the stereotypical form of a psycho, or something as such? Exactly, yeah, but to me it depends on how seriously you're taking the joke. Like, to me there's a difference between dark humor and just being pure sadistic. Such as like you see a kid and you're just like, I'm a simple person. I see a kid, I simply intending on hurt them, or that just doesn't make sense to me. Jackbox games, yes, I have played Jackbox games. Thank you. I'm honestly grateful that you changed the subject to something more lighter, Tulip. No offense to anybody who brought up such subjects, but I think I've played Quiplash. I believe Quiplash is the one, like, kind of like the Gartic phone or the broken telephone game. Very, very funny games. I wish to play Gartic phone again with some pals sometime. Because I got the most brilliant idea, or so I can describe. Some, like, characters as if they were drawn differently or poorly, for that matter, like, kind of like how Oni plays and his friends do in their slightly artistic shows. Very, very funny. Just a Yoshi just going like, sad eyes. Hot dog Balin? No, we're not talking about that. We are not bringing up Balin's hair being like sausage. My friend does that enough. My in real life bestie. Nobody compares Balin's hair to sausage. No. No. Please no. I don't know why I don't like it. It's like cursed. Kind of like some sort of hot dog made of, not a hot dog, but a weird foot made of ground beef with chops of onions for toenails. Ugh. Sorry, that was very cursed. I did not mean to. Entirely a hot dog? That doesn't make it any better. That doesn't make it. I'm sorry, Teddy, but that's cursed too. That's probably cursed a little bit more. But seriously, though, my friend does say, Ballin has hair sausage, and I'm just sitting there just like throwing soft punches on their shoulder. Very, very cursed idea, if I do say so myself. But I remember when one of us in this one crew drew Ballin as a baguette. Baguette Len, for that matter. Pardon me. No hair sausage, please. I know I'm smiling. Don't let the smile fool you. It's cursed. I'm sorry, but it is. I don't have so many cowlicks. Yeah, the hat was a loaf of bread. Imagine it was like just a common loaf of bread, like the shape like this. That would be the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Balin's a bakery owner. Just makes the best edible glitter cupcakes and such. You know, I've actually made that before. Not edible glitter based cupcakes, but definitely something that required edible glitter. Really, really cute recipe for galaxy themed frosting cupcakes by Rosanna Panzino. I highly recommend you check out her videos. No sponsors or whatever it's called. Yes, you will love them, and it's kind of like a chocolate cupcake type with the galaxy frosting. The best thing I've ever made. I shared them with my nephews. My nephews do, in fact, enjoy my cooking. I hate to brag, but I have some experience in food prep and all that. Rosina Panzino. She is a very, very talented baker, I personally believe. Wait a minute. Pardon me, I just thought I did a weird face. I was honestly had somewhat expectations that some rando is gonna jump in and say, "Don't you ever wear makeup?" I don't know. I'm insecure about my face, but I rarely wear makeup. I know this is off topic, and my greatest apologies for doing so. But I always wanted like a little kind of make it look like a raccoon mask part of like a bright galaxy colors. Makeup is itchy. You're right, Daddy. It's very itchy and sometimes irritating towards my own skin. And I'm not sure if it's an allergy or such, but it can really change your looks, yes. And I did wear makeup more than a couple times, especially for my senior photo. I'll admit I looked pretty cute at the time, but I think I look better without the make. Maybe just a little blush to cover my scars. And my cute glasses. I am nearsighted, so that's why I have them. My cute glasses and such. Fancy little pattern, like a little pattern. Sensitivity issue, yeah. Anyway, I get a nice like a like a red and yellow plaid thin shirt I have, the white shirt underneath it, fedora, which I cannot grab at the moment. And just my guitar I can hold to give it extra hipster, I suppose. I don't know. I don't even know what hipster is. Is that bad that I don't recognize fashion senses that well? Well, I know what looks good on people, in my opinion, when it comes to fashion. But I don't think everybody looks good in the same exact outfit, like every single person on Earth. I'm like a Rarity from My Little Pony. I think certain outfits fit certain people, like in tones of like personality and such. Like something fiery for a short-tempered person. I see what you mean. Pardon my reoccurring silence, if you will, because if I don't know, sometimes I have no other big topics to talk about. If I were to make a genuine oh hello. Yes, remind me who you are. I'm sorry, I forget everybody's names. If you don't mind, I mean, unless we haven't met. Hold on a second, actually. I can still talk, I just won't be able to view the comments for a minute. Oh, whoops. I have no idea why, but I'm suddenly feeling a bit inspired to rap a little something from the game Incredibox. Has anybody here played Incredibox, at least, or heard of it? The dude who portrays the character you can dress up. You take me for a little child, ask me for more compromise, but do you like your adult life? Oh, Taddy, you were missing out. The music on there is pretty good. But yes, I do, in fact, recommend Incredibox. It's probably $2 to $4 when you get it. But then again, it is fun. I will sometime at least host a drawing stream where people can maybe comment something for me to draw, and I'll draw it as long as it's not deemed offensive or plausible to draw. Because honestly, I cannot draw mecha. I am not that skilled, like those high detailed mecha from Evangelion or such. I can't whistle the theme that well. Then again, I'm not a good whistler. I believe that's Olimar, if you will. I may or may not have to end the stream at some point, possibly shortly, due to an oddly lack of creativity of subjects to bring up. This is very awkward, I'll admit, but unless there are more questions asked, I will indeed have to end the stream. Not right away though. Other than that, favorite character I made, that's a very good question, because a lot of them I do in fact love very dearly. We've got Jeannie, maybe she's there. But my favorite character, I'm gonna have to say, is it's gonna have to be my character Echo, Jeannie, maybe Bubbles, so on and so forth. Something I like to do. I am a art hobbyist. I draw a lot. Sometimes, when in the right mood of inspiration, I will go on my Duolingo app and learn Japanese. I will sometimes write poetry or just little things, I suppose. But above all, I do art. I definitely do art. If I knew how I could, actually, I do know how I could share one of my art links. But at the same time, it's kind of weird to talk about on YouTube because, well, I might be one of the victims of cringe culture is never dead, so therefore you're a terrible artist and you should learn. Well, I've learned. I'm not an idiot. Sorry, that was a random topic to jump into, but other than that, I am indeed a artist. And such, if only I could somehow make a display of my most recent pictures. Getting better at what, I suppose? I mean, what, I wonder? Like, are you talking about the art I'm doing, or oh, you are getting better? Pardon me, I misread that. What would I am? Oh, don't worry, Taddy. That's personal stuff. I'm not sharing it. What my channel is about? Well, it's gonna be mostly animations. I'm somewhat considering some gaming videos, but I'm in an absolute focus mode where I play games sometimes, unless I'm really into the story, like the Origami King, especially with Olivia, the Origami Princess, or such, or Queen, perhaps, because the Origami King is her brother. Now that I'm just looking into my art, I suppose someday I would love to share my animation with a little lawnmower Rotom Pokemon that will repeat a very, very familiar vine quote. That vine. Pardon me, that was dumb. I also mess with Miku Miku Dance and Blender. Maybe I should do that someday too. Perhaps a Blender stream. Or maybe even a time to play guitar and other such things. Pardon me, I saw something funny. For some reason, I remember reblogging a animation with Balin holding Lance in a headlock, going punching him right in the head. Favorite food, you ask? That was one heck of a jump. Favorite food? That's a very good question, actually. I may be picky, but I have a huge range of favorite food. Like, usually I like Italian food, fries, shellfish of certain kinds, specifically king crab. King crab is the best. And a couple other things that are sometimes I don't get very often, like, I know this is more of a drink than a food, but grape ramune from, like, more Japanese-themed restaurants. I like a glass of Ramune. I like a little weird bottle of Ramune, but I prefer the grape variant. That's the best kind, in my opinion. If only I could, I don't know, find such a good picture about it. I clearly don't post as often as I used to. I more wander on Discord. I have actually done other types of art before, that's not like sketches or digital sketches. I have done sculpting before. I actually have like some little sculptures and such of like one of my characters or things like that. Like my character, I have a character named Salius. She is a kind of a weird chimera hybrid of a wolf, fox, alpaca, and a pegasus. I know Pegasus isn't considered a real animal, but why not? why not involve a Pegasus? She's quadrupedal like one, and she is a technically a embodiment of imagination and creativity. But specifically, she's an imaginary friend, I suppose. I don't draw her very often, but I really should because she's basically very much a wolf-like doggo. Very wolf-like. I actually have a in real life friend who is now outside the country. Well, for military reasons, he moved elsewhere. Him and his family. But yes, Sally's colors are like a melon red color. Very light white colored like legs for hydrodynamic reasons, and like a galactic blending into purple tail. Very, very best doggo. Yeah, if anything Sallius can do, Sallius, and it's like a distress cry to let her owner know. That owner would be me. To let her know that she is on her way, in trouble and such, because she is an embodiment of like one's creativity. Basically, injuring me could injure her. It doesn't hurt when you injure only her, but if you punch me really hard in the shoulder, it'll really hurt her shoulder. The exact same side. That's how she works. Basically like a life force kind of deal, like a star that Kirby had. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, the terrible, I suppose, Kirby anime. It wasn't that bad to me. I'm still a little thrown off by the whole Jinx cause fires kind of thing. I'm sorry, it's just out of context for that matter. I suppose I have 8 minutes left, about around that time, if I rounded it. I'm not the ultimate mathematician. But surprisingly, I was smart enough to where my friends have actually said, ask her, she's the smart one. Okay, why arson? Why arson of all things? I'm not a pyromaniac, but I am tempted because a friend told me about it years ago, that if you set like a flaming hot Cheeto on fire, it'll just disintegrate like a beeswax candle. Which is somehow, call me insane if you will, somehow intriguing to me that how a flaming hot Cheeto can combust like that. Well, it sounds more. I've never really lit a beeswax candle, but I have lit a regular candle. The good smelling ones, of course. I kind of have something like that. It's not really a traditional candle. It's called a Scentsy watermelon mint scented. The best thing ever. And if my camera keeps shaking, pardon me. I'm kicking and turning my the table that this laptop is sitting on. If only I had a much better camera or mic for that matter. The high-tech stuff. But I am not that rich, sadly, as much as I have nice stuff like this computer I got as a present, the other expensive things I gotten as a present or a gift, the Switch, a guitar that was probably $300, I suppose. This tablet I bought all by myself, $600. Yeah, it may sound like I'm in a pretty standard rich family, but I'm not. I am not a rich kid. If I was, I'd be living in someplace more fancier than this. And that was one classist description. I am very sorry. Class shouldn't excuse such things, though. And I'm still curious as to why the arson thing is still there. I'm scared, I guess, of the arson comment. I have about 5 minutes left till I can decide to end the stream for now. Anything you guys like to say, like any forms of goodbyes, or just something random like, hey, you guys. Pardon me. I just want to say I'm thankful that you guys decided to jump on and watch and listen to me prattle like a dingus. I am very grateful that this is my first proper stream that you guys can ask in speed round. Oh, speed round, like what? Do the whole B movie script? Yeah, I think that's gonna overwhelm everything if you try that. But still, that's gotta be one heck of a typing thing. Favorite Mario Kart course? Electrodrome, no doubt about it. It's the Electrodrome. That one sounds like a absolute blast if you like just rode around in a hoverboard, a real hoverboard, one that actually goes about an inch or two above the ground. That would be killer. Pokemon type, water. Most definitely water. That's the element I associate myself with. As much as I'm not the best without a life vest swimmer, but I do love the water and I feel like I have a connection to it. Not to sound like a dingus in terms of superstition. Oshawott line. Oshawott to do what? To Sambarat is my very, very favorite Pokemon line, really. I know it's got to be just one, but why not? Why not the whole deal? Yep, Oshawott's the best in my opinion. And very, very underrated, too. People go around saying, oh, it's an otter, therefore it's hideous. Are you kidding me? Otters, some otters out there are near extinction. Well, endangered is the word, but still. And what's wrong with a cute little otter, or a seal for that matter? I never understood the Poplio hate, and people are like, oh, on second thought, I don't hate Poplio anymore. I was kidding. You weren't kidding. You just discovered Primarina, which, do I dare say, is a lovely singer. A very, very lovely singer ever since I heard the anime. Prima Marina. River otters are frightening. I've never really seen a river otter different from a common otter. But I do know that, all I know is that their tactics for hunting is that they bite the tail of a salmon it bites the tail of a salmon so it can't run away or swim away. Salmon don't have feet. That would be creepy though if there was a pedal, like a bipedal or quadrupedal fish. Aggro, you mean aggressive? Yeah, I've seen some river otters deem nearly harming their children for the sake of kicking them out of the nest. Like, they don't even help them swim. They just shove them down in the water and that's it. I think that's either a common otter or a river otter. It's okay. That's something to comment, I suppose. Well, now that I think about it, that'd be an inverted mermaid. Fish head, bipedal form. It's actually Darwin from Gumball, an inverted mermaid. It was proven in Dodger Dare. Little cardboard video game, not a video game, a little cardboard game. I thought you didn't want to talk anything about regarding Elon. Or just, well, you said pictures to be specific. All Elon is just a mermaid version of Balin. And an eel, of course. He is very cursed and I love him very dearly as well. It's just the kind of creature that'll suddenly, you hold a big jar, like from an empty jar of a year's worth of peanut butter, put his head right in it and can't pull it out. I have approximately 30 seconds. And then again, I would like to say thank you very much for joining me in my stream. I can do this more often if I can figure out times. Still garbage, thank you. Who are you calling garbage? No, I'm just kidding. But then again, thank you very much for joining my stream. I will approximately be ending pretty soon. Bye to you too, Taddy. Thank you again, everybody who is watching this stream. I'll be closing soon. Bye.